and we're live.
Alright.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Maybe we just look around for a little bit. I don't know how the YouTube thing works. I probably should have. I just didn't want the other stuff there. But
just
go ahead, Fern. Take it away.
Just act casual for a second. Okay. Welcome everyone to Splat Chat episode 10. Today we are doing our preview for the Splat World Series this Saturday. I'm your host, Fern, and my comp career is on the exact opposite trajectory of X-Man's right now. And I have with me on the cast our producer CKK, SWS, I think head TO, Z, and then of course Shiny Hunter Zach. So I think our first order of business is really just some roster moves for teams that have qualified or would have qualified for the Splat World Series before we get into the actual meat of the event. So recent news, sort of pseudo recent news, is for Vanguard and Black Lotus having pretty significant roster changes. I believe like 2 to 3 players on each team. So I know CKK, you've been like up to date stalking the Twitter FA post economy.
It's crazy. I'm not stalking, I promise. I'm not stalking. They just show up. They just show up. And like I'll be scrolling on Twitter and I see FA. I'm like, wow, that's like a big team. That's not just like a team you see disbanding, especially the Black Lotus ones. They kind of took me by surprise. So yeah, I know like not a lot of people are like tapped into Twitter still, and even then they're probably not following like top players. So I've just been posting about it just to be like, hey, this happened. Here's the screenshots to prove that I'm not lying. I'm not doing any excessive digging or anything. I just wanted to share the news.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I kind of expected there to be Vanguard roster changes post Sendiq Season 7 finale, but not like those roster changes.
Mm-hmm.
And especially after they had such a breakout run. It's like the worst time to drop players is when you were playing well for like the first time in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of makes sense for Black Lotus, I guess, but it's, I don't know. Vanguard is very strange.
I have to agree. But real quick, what do you two think, Zach and NC? What do you guys think? I want to know you guys' opinions are first, because I've been covering it already. I've been kind of sharing my opinions there.
Do you think we maybe should explain what the roster changes were
Oh,
first?
well, okay, yeah, you're right. Let me pull that up real quick. Oh my gosh, I don't want to have to pull up my own tweet. Let's see it. Well, the main ones were that on Vanguard's case, I have to scroll down my thing. Oh wait, I quote retweeted it. Thank you earlier, CKK. But basically the roster changes, at least on Vanguard, were Phoenix and Jazer or Jacerok made posts detailing that they're getting kicked or just leaving Vanguard. Most of the citing was just, there were some issues like just wanting to find a different player or just having some general issues internally, which is unfortunate. It's really sad to see. I'm hoping to see that the team still sticks together, but it's like what you said. They were doing all right. They were still like being pretty competitive, all things considered, in top level events. And honestly, they were the only team in the West to really take like TXG the distance, or at least a gray pickup, if you want to call them that. Literally the only team I think we've seen take them to a game 5, not only take them to a game 5, but take them to a game 5 consistently. And now they're breaking up because I guess they just didn't really reach the heights that they were looking for. Really sad to see. Jay was the backline pen player, and then Phoenix, I believe, was a support player, I believe, if I'm not wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, support, like a bit of a flex. He can place whatever.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I can only look at it from a commentary lens. I've casted a good amount of Jay's games, for example, and Pen is one of those roles that's really important right now. I know a lot of teams are experimenting with the different kinds of, tactical or weapons that are available, and you have heavy edit. And I've even seen discourse around like, okay, there's a lot of teams that are experimenting, especially on shorter maps with, what other shorter range, weapons can you run. And in commentary, we only get to look at, things like the team compositions and the stats, as y'all are well aware, and how they actually perform when they're in the game. We don't often get to see, and I don't deign usually to speculate on a lot of the like interpersonal things that might be going on the back end of things. But that's an underrated, sort of oft maybe forgotten component when you're just tuning in on Saturdays and Sundays, for example, and checking out tournaments. But there can be major issues even if players are very strong individually. It's not usually as effective to throw a team of all-stars together and just expect them to mesh versus a team that has pretty good players but has that sort of team cohesion. And I think a lot of conversation has gone on in the West about how I would love to see, and other people would love to see, more consistency with the teams that are playing. And so it stinks to see a couple more teams that are maybe still keeping their identity as a team but losing or changing players. I'd love for fans to be able to root for, I guess, these same consistent rosters for a long while. But I also understand that it's just not feasible, and maybe for their mental health, or just if they're not getting the results that you're looking for, like you said earlier, it might be time to move on.
Yeah, I personally agree. It's just the one thing on the results side, because I'm not really going to touch the interpersonal side of it because that's just them. It's not stuff you could really avoid. But like one aspect of it that does make me question if it was a good move. It's just the fact that like Phoenix and Jazor right now, both, talking about SWS, bringing it back to that, both of them have found a spot on like relatively new teams. Granted, both teams that they joined were pre-existing teams and they were kind of coming in as like a fifth or sub position. But even for that, fifth sub position, they immediately found a spot on that team and played like a significant amount of matches in like both qualifiers. Being Jazor going to New Meta and then Phoenix going to Frutella, and they're both doing pretty good on those rosters too. I think we saw even Phoenix like in the second qualifier playing a little bit of like more. I think it was the heavy edit, but I'm not sure. But picking up like Crownie's role, so they've been actually really useful on a lot of these teams. It just makes me wonder like. Now Vanguard's got to pick up, like Vanguard, the team, they have to really pick up like a really star-studded players to really show that, the roster changes were justified in my opinion. But
yeah,
how do you guys feel about
they
that?
only have two. Yeah, they only have two players right now on their roster, right?
Yeah, I think it's Reiki and Mickey. Well, Mikey or Mikey, whatever it is. I'm not really entirely sure, but I think those are the two left. So yeah, I'm interested to see like where they end up going in terms of that. Oh, I guess they also have like Urza as a sub, so maybe Urza comes in, but I know like Urza and Mikey, their roles overlap a lot. I'd be interested to see. I think Urza is a pretty flexible player that would be willing to like flex into different roles, but I'm not too entirely sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think it is kind of the funniest outcome is that Vanguard, the team that has to drop from SWS because they're dropping players, the players they drop then qualify for SWS on different teams is like really funny. And like I feel like at some level you have to be regretting it a little bit if the source of it like was like practical, like comp related, like playstyle related stuff, is that like, oh, they can just go and win by themselves. I mean, I guess that speaks to their like quality as players. Like they slot into the teams and then like a week later they're back to grand finaling majors. But I like, yeah, you were saying like Phoenix did sub in as edit for Crownie, which I mean on Frutella, the team that was kind of one of the only people pushing edit in the West. And after we were talking so much about how Crownie was like kind of dumpstering pen players, that Phoenix was able to just come in and do the same thing. Obviously I think the rest of Frutella was playing really well, but like that the backline sub from Phoenix was like, I think pretty relatively crucial. And that's, I don't know, the Vanguard drops are, I was like kind of completely taken off guard by that personally. Like I did not expect that to happen. They had literally just come off their best result in a while. And it was like, oh, we're finally back to, like, I think they put Urza back in the active roster and it was like, oh, we're finally back to like a really good Vanguard core. and then now there is no Vanguard core. And I think I just don't know who Vanguard picks up after this, because I hope that Vanguard can like continue the brand of the team with new roster slots, like new players on the roster. I think that's often what we see in Splatoon, is that like a team will drop a player or two and just disband and then like rebrand or something, instead of like where you might see in traditional esports where like Fnatic or whatever could drop 2 players, but they're still going to be Fnatic next year. And I think being able to root for Vanguard as opposed to rooting for like whatever team Erza is on is kind of cool for the Splatoon scene. But at the same time, it's like, who do you pick up because you just dropped like 2 of the best options in France? So I think Vanguard is going to be really interesting to look forward at, like after post SWS tournaments, just like who they're going to be playing with. I mean, I know they've played with Yeti and Warlock in the past, but their roles kind of overlap. So, which on the side of Black Lotus, I think this drops kind of makes sense, because Black Lotus is, of course, in their flop era. They do not
Yeah.
they kind of do not look like a top team at the moment. It's a bit like, I think that's on like a winning team like that, where you have basically some of the best German players to ever do it. I think you kind of have to like actually look at your roster and be like, what's causing this to happen? And I think they've preserved their core of like Noctis and Anger and a backline, and then like dropped players that like they dropped Labi and Mertz, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they had a long roster. Like every time you see them sign up for something, they had an extremely long roster.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Black
much of that is just like shuffling things around and then letting people go, or if it's just like these were the subs and we're just letting them explore other options. I'm not sure though. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's because I think they have Anger and Wasabo, who I think Wasabo is really good, and then they have Noctis. I honestly, if they weren't in a position, I think Noctis is the captain of that team. I think if they didn't have Noctis, I would say go pick up Azad, who is a free agent probably, and insane. I mean, Azad has a plus suggest from Gray, and I think you just don't even need to look at the plus suggest if Gray is the one suggesting it. But
yeah, it's true.
But they're also kind of hurting for free agents. I'm not sure what their like rebuild is gonna look like. It seems like Zera Z might be playing the game again.
Ooh, that could be crazy. Maybe.
I've seen they're currently on the Frutella roster
Really?
for SWS Finals. Yeah, they are. It's so, and I know Gray sings the praises of Zera Z like in half of his Blue Sky posts.
He's the number one glazer. Actually.
Yeah, he kind of is. It's, and I don't know, like it's either Zach or Z or whoever has an input. Like, do you think Zera Z returning is gonna be like a big point of change for Black Lotus, or just for like EU Splatoon as a whole is kind of like it's like Ganondorf like returning to the scene basically, if he is coming back. Like, what do you think that'll have like any significant impact, especially with these new teams like kind of breaking up a bit?
I mean, I definitely think it'll give a shot in the arm. Like, you need, like you said, there's not that many players that are available that can play at sort of that high level. And so when the pickings are that slim, you really, I guess, are reliant on any sort of additional help that you can get. And Zara's, playing that kind of around mid-range, pretty hyper aggressive style. You want some of that in order to play against teams that are going to take on more of that offensive edge. I know Japan, a lot of them have sort of like a pencil and then maybe some shorter range weapons like Dapples, or even, some Splash-O-Matics or things, even variants of the splatter shot, like the new one that came out. So you probably want somebody that can bother them or keep them, locked back for as long as you can. And with somebody who's been, in the scene for that long and is used to playing for, different teams and with high level teams at the same time, I think you really want to break in that person as much as you can. I don't know how much practice they're going to get as a team, if they do, or if they've been preparing this for a while. It seems like kind of a last second addition. So if they're able to make it work, I hope they won't change anything too drastically that worked for them to get to this point to ruin their chances. But yeah, I could definitely see it making sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, wasn't too familiar with Black Lotus. I know they had more of a storied history beyond like what I've been like paying attention to in terms of top teams, but they were definitely the most like recognizable teams. I would say, just like coming from an outsider's perspective, more so than anything. And they're even like what, technically sponsored by or some partnership with like a German esports org. So I would imagine that like those results definitely pressuring them. And I think, if Zera Z comes back or Zera's, and he is as good as Gray hypes him up to be, I believe it, then that could be huge. And we could see them, start making those top eights that they've been missing out on.
Right. Yeah, definitely. All right. So I want to cover the Splat World Series second qualifier that we just had, where Frutella and New Meta, third and fourth in our first qualifier, finished second, or finished first and second in this one. So they both qualified after just barely not making it last time. And I don't know how, Z, I don't know how tapped in you are. I'm just like, I want to ask you just like context of all the qualifiers as a whole. Is this how you thought it would go?
I do like how it went, because now we have basically 8 teams. I know the gray pickup technically isn't a team, but they played so much together that it's like, okay, well, now it's a team. So having like what is essentially 8 teams on the thing is like really exciting, and kind of what the whole goal was in mind, is to have these teams either come out and play with each other again, or to create new teams. So it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you on the 8 teams thing. Like that is the most. I feel like that group of players is the most situationship team you could ever have. Where it's like it's not official, it's not committed, it's all loose ties and everything. But they play together more consistently than I see pickup groups like. Or sorry, actual teams play together. Because actual teams, I see them, moving around a lot, especially with a lot of pickups and whatnot. So that's a team in my book. That's 8 teams. Let's call it that.
No, I definitely think that was like one of the big things I was like thinking about, is that like basically all of the teams qualified from the West are actual teams, and people have been saying over and over again like, oh, we need like actual teams and not pickups in the high and top level. And it's like, well, apparently being on an actual team works, because everyone that qualified is a long-term team. Like even Vanguard, the team that like we kind of had like 9 teams qualify for the West. Like even Vanguard was a long-term team. So that's, I think, kind of a big step forward, is like is proof either that like either I sort of just that the people that are in teams are the best players, but now that the best players are in teams is, I think, pretty cool for the Western scene, and especially like highlighting us on a global stage. That like all our representatives are like genuine teams is very cool. And I think like one of the things I was noticing in qualifier 2 was like just how many team tags there were in our top teams. Like Bad Villain is apparently a real team. You had like Frutella and TNT with team tags. New Meta, I don't think they did, but they're essentially a team, but they are a team. So like that was, I think, super cool. Like there were pickups, of course, but that we're seeing so many like maybe teams, maybe like consistent groups at least at top level, I think, is just kind of a sudden shift, but also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I think that like it's really cool for a lot of reasons. I will say a lot of the teams, kind of like what you were saying, Z, were like kind of created recently for the event. Well, I don't know for the event, but like they kind of came together and focused on like working together and playing together and scrimming together instead of just being like need +2 for random weekly, here's the link in chat, anybody join, and then that's how you get like rosters of 8 teams. But you know what, I think we saw a lot of teams like actually form. A lot of the teams were pretty new. I mean, Frutella used to exist, and then all of a sudden, you know, they disbanded back in 2024. Now they're back, they're running it back, and they're like we're running it back, it looks a little different, but we're so back. And it's like that's a recent thing. Granted, the players have been playing together in weeklies for a while now. If you watch any weeklies or anything like that, like they've been playing together for a while now, just not under Frutella, because I guess they didn't want to carry the team name. But I feel like when the scene has stuff to play for, then people take more pride in taking a team name into it, as we see like a lot of team names kind of coming in, or even just like spiritual successors. I know FT Win is been around for or back for a while now, but even then they recently decided to come out of retirement, or I guess what do you call it, what's the word I'm looking for, yeah, hiatus, like this year. And then there was, you know, Frutella, like I mentioned, Milky Way, which is a play because it's another, you know, candy, but like, you know, that's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Starburst. Also probably because they got tired of people calling them Starburst. And you know, just seeing a bunch of team names, I feel like people, when they have something to play for, I don't know if we see more teams, but I think we see more people put more effort towards the branding, is more so than anything, because a lot of these players have been playing together for a while. But what do you guys think about that?
Actually,
I
it
think it's
hadn't
pretty
occurred to me that it was called Milky Way because of a second candy.
Really?
I didn't realize that. Okay, Z, you can go ahead. I just wanted to comment. I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah, it's been great. That's all I have to say, really.
Mhm.
About it.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's good for the scene. I hope we keep the momentum, because it's not just, you know, Splat World Series that we have this year. I know a lot of people are kind of thinking, and I'm sure you are too, Z, like, oh, you know, what's next for the scene after this, right? I think there's plenty. I mean, IPL still is doing super jumps. They said they're doing that still right after this, like 2 to 3 weeks after Splat World Series finals. We got to worry about Sendo Q finale, which is pretty hype. That's going to be pretty interesting. And then we're also going to have a I don't know what's on the horizon actually besides those two. There was something else, I think. I mean, there's plenty of lands like
is coming
Riptide.
up. Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. And it's like there's still plenty to look towards after this. So I'm hoping that the momentum keeps teams together and still competing, especially in those things. But well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see teams like do anything with that.
Yeah. I think just moving into like, I want to do a recap of the last qualifier for the Splat World Series, and just like talking about those new teams. Some notes, like we had a few like new or like new high level or like new proven high, sort of pseudo proven high level teams like have pretty breakout runs. I think no vanity, it's heavy metal again, but they were called no vanity for like a few weeks. They had a pretty solid run. That's a like a relatively new high level team, and then also Pathway. Pathway had a like really good run to like losers right before losers quarterfinals, but like with some pretty like good teams beaten along the way. And they've sort of been farming EU weeklies, and I like this. That's kind of a team to look out for. Like maybe not in, obviously not in SWS, but like in Super Jump, in future stuff. This team is going to be really strong.
I saw a tweet that like aren't also on the Sendo Q leaderboard for teams. Aren't they like number 1 and number 2?
I believe they are ranked 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think the second
they're
one's just with
first.
their fifth. Yeah, they've been grinding, and especially if you like keep an eye on weeklies, like you said, they've been doing really good, really interesting. You know, I think Mondi is definitely a standout because you don't see juniors perform pretty high. I mean, I guess they're not in terms of like pure results in Splat World Series. I mean, they're not hitting the top 8, so I guess they're not top 8 in the West if you want to say that. But they're grinding. They're probably the team that is putting the most like effort right now, in terms of just grinding out the matches. At least from a front facing perspective, I'm sure every team is like grinding it out in the background, trying to think, oh gosh, what are we gonna do about our round 1 in Splat World Series? So they're not focusing on Sendo nearly as much, but. Yeah, I mean they did really well. I mean they only went down to TNT, which is team of retirement home. No.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about TNT because, like, I think this is one of the teams that kind of surprised us the most, where we sort of wrote them off as like top 8 honorable mention. Like they're all washed. Like I don't think they're gonna go super far. They're not all washed, but like this team of like some pretty relatively storied NA players of like Helix, Stark, Waka, and Temp. Helix, Stark, and Waka more specifically being like historically relevant players, and like Zach, especially if you have anything, I'm sure you've casted these 3. If you have anything to say about like they're kind of still popping off in the big 2025.
Yeah, it's good to see. You know, I was actually going to mention kind of Duck Motif as well as one that I was surprised on their placement. I'm very used to seeing players like Red Shell and Caden, you know, do very, very well in tournaments that I've casted them in, and to see them, you know, only 8th kind of both shows how stacked the tournament is, and also to your point on how much they're playing together and grinding it out and participating. It shows maybe the merits of sticking together, you know, as a team for quite some time, the way that a team like Pathway has, and earning a spot, you know, Pathway finishing 6th compared to kind of Duck Motif finishing 8th, and TNT they're finishing 10th. And I think that was one of the nice things too about these 2 qualifiers, especially the second one as well, is looking at the placements, you know, the teams that each other team lost to. I think there were not that many surprises on the whole. I think the seeding was pretty strong, and you know, as you mentioned, the 2 teams that finished 3rd and 4th in the first qualifier ended up 1st and 2nd in the second qualifier. So they weren't like a late addition or anything, or it wasn't a team that held out until the second qualifier or wasn't available. They really took that 3rd and 4th and showed that it wasn't a fluke after the first qualifier, that they earned their spot in the actual finals of the Splat World Series. But I'm super excited. I'm glad that there are weeklies prevalent enough where teams are, and an avenue like Cinder.Inc. where you can sort of see exactly how you stack up against the other competition. There's teams, you know, that I recognize pretty consistently, like Health and Diet Food Groups, that, you know, are top 5 right now in that endeavor, and even new teams like Blanks that are top 3 that I can't wait to see play in more events. I know some people prefer to be like grinder, like solo grinders or weekly grinders, but I'm hoping that, you know, with some of the both LAN and online events coming up, that they show up there. And I know, for example, I think Moonlight is going to be at Riptide, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, and I hope more teams, obviously finances and distance and other obligations can be an obstacle to actually everybody making it to those events, but it's so nice when you're able to get a full team that has been dominating online tournaments or doing very well come together, and you get to see them on the stage. And especially with Riptide boasting and saying they're one of the largest, if not the largest, LAN events that Splatoon has had in North America, that we get as many of those high level teams to come out there and compete for all the people that are showing up.
I think Gray is going to Riptide, right?
I mean, he got free tickets.
Yeah, he got passes from
okay.
Super Jump.
I think he was planning to beforehand too, anyway, though. So I am curious to see. I think he's actually playing with basically like Milky Way. I think it's like Jared. I forgot who else. It's like the Voie Lacti team, or or Milky Way in French, I think.
Oh, that's what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, it stands for Milky Way in French. I didn't realize that.
I should know that.
Did you take French?
A little bit, but like I feel like that's obvious.
Impressive. Wow.
But a long time ago. But anyway, TNT as well, like we have Paintbrush in top 4 of
Oh my
a
gosh,
major
Paintbrush.
qualifier.
Yes.
I almost wish we gotten like Tormy on the show just to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
Torby would
But
not have shut up about it. Like, Paintbrush has potential. It's still here.
yeah,
Oh my
that was I
gosh.
think super cool to see. I know Temp is like, I think Temp played Brella for a while, like is sort of a less common weapon player, but
Mm.
I didn't expect the Paintbrush there to even be Paintbrush, much less in 4th place. And I mean that team could have theoretically made uh the Splat World Series. They took New Meta to a game 5 in winners top 8. So that would have been kind of crazy. At the same time, it would have been very crazy for like Waka to have represented the NA because he hasn't. I don't think he's played very much in Splatoon 3. But
Mhm.
outside
Yeah.
of that,
Mhm.
I wonder if new meta is going to stick around like post SWS
They
because
made a
most of these
Twitter. I'm pretty
they did.
sure. I'm pretty sure.
They didn't have one already.
I think it was recently created. Let me see. Wait, new meta. I'm pretty sure it exists.
Twitter official instead of Facebook official these days.
Yeah. Is that what they did back then? Is that really what they did back then? Oh my gosh, wait.
I mean, they would do like, I know it's for relationships and stuff. They'd be like, "Oh, we're Facebook official now." Now, I guess you're making a team page on Twitter instead of
Your
Twitter
Twitter
officially now.
Team official.
That's
Yeah, but
funny.
I think Z, if you had like anything to say about like the impact of SWS and that it has kind of like either spawned teams or turned pseudo teams into like actual teams with branding and team tags and uh I guess Twitter accounts, if you either expected that to happen or like what you think about that happening.
I think it's great for the scene. Just having more teams, more branding, gives people something to root for. Like we saw what Land Championship Showdown did, and how excited people were for that, with 400 concurrent viewers or whatever the peak was. Um, it gives people a lot to root for, and I think a similar thing, is going to happen this weekend for people rooting for the NA or EU teams, or just the Western scene in general versus Japan.
I 100% agree. I think it's gonna happen, and we're gonna see it, and then hopefully there's another league or something. Well, people don't like league. Maybe Ludi eventually happens, and we'll see some real teams in Ludi.
That would be nice for once.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't find their Twitter, but I swear I saw it. I'm not gonna I'm gonna dig for it. If it doesn't show up when I look it up, I don't know. That sucks.
One
Yeah.
thing I also, since
Mhm.
you were talking about how you said the Land Championship had really high viewership. I like the second qualifier also had very high viewership. Like it had a peak of like, at least from what I saw, it had like a peak of at least like 250-ish on IPL, and you had Keo and Jared with like 100+ viewer watch parties for the tournament. Like it's getting a lot of listening, and I wonder like how big the viewership numbers are going to swell if we're going to see any like if there's going to be I imagine Area Cup probably has, like a Japanese stream of SWS or like
Yes.
does like what the viewership is going to look like for this Saturday. But
Yeah, I'm curious. Honestly,
Yeah.
I
it should
think
be a
it's gonna
lot.
break records.
Okay, let's put a line on it just for fun. Over
Line
under
up,
600.
yeah, over under 600. All right. I got this. I think it's over
600 peak.
600 peak. Way over 600 peak. I think we're hitting 1K.
Whoa.
I think we're hitting 1K. I don't
You
know.
think we're hitting- That's
Yeah.
I mean that would be pretty sick.
And by this I mean like the official IPL streams across both Twitch and YouTube. I'm not talking about Area Cup.
Oh, okay.
I think,
Oh, okay.
'cause I think Area Cup is gonna get like a bunch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking everything. I was like, you take everything into account: live streams, co-streams, mainstream,
Oh,
area.
everything account. We're
Yeah,
definitely gonna get over.
Yeah,
Kyo's gonna have
yeah,
200 viewers. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
exactly.
easily.
easily.
but yeah, I can see it being like 500, 600 on IPL. I think this is a like I've seen more people that aren't comp players talk about SWS than I feel like any other tournament in recorded history. And I don't know. It is sort of a grassroots world championship in like kind of the purest sense. I know we've had like world championship collabs with Area Cup, but they did not have nearly the promotion or like the significance in the West as this one does. But
I agree.
moving on.
Wait, we
In
didn't get Zach's over under 600.
oh yes,
I need
over
to
under.
I'll
know.
play devil's advocate and I'll go under, and the reasoning for it is a little bit biased because it's like pretty early NA, I believe. I think it starts at
True.
like 7 a.m. Central Time,
I would say
and second block like 9 a.m. So it's gonna depend on whether people are willing to get up for in NA time, if they're not participating, if they're just watching, and if they want to watch it live, if they don't want to just catch the VOD later.
Mhm.
But I think if you're including everything, it definitely like IPL plus any post streams that happen, because there should be a lot. I mean, it's they're expecting it, I would think, to be enough to where they put out on social saying, hey, if you're going to co-stream this, you need to have this little banner at the bottom saying, this is what you're watching, this is who it's affiliated with. So I don't think they would do that unless they were expecting a relatively high amount of not just viewership on their side, but also co-streaming from established content creators and players. So I'll go the under just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, but I'm rooting and pushing for it to massively exceed.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got one doubter and 3 believers.
that's
Well,
right.
actually, you didn't say whether you believed it or not, but
I think it's going over. I
Okay.
think we're gonna have the highest Splatoon 3 viewership of the
Cool.
year, possibly. Maybe not Riptide, actually.
Mhm.
Riptide's probably gonna have
Maybe.
more, but
Maybe, yeah.
At least for now. I hope y'all
know.
get it. But I
For
mean, this
online
is
tournaments,
16
yeah.
team double elim, so I feel like it's gonna take long enough that by the time Grands happens, like there's gonna be a lot of people watching.
That's true.
Yeah.
Grands will be cool. I think that's definitely gonna have the peak viewership there. That's gonna be crazy. People are gonna wake up and be like, "Oh wait, I forgot Grands is on."
The West Coast waking up for Grands. They just wake up at like 8:45 their time, and Grands is already happening.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Also, speaking now that we're also talking about things that like this is gonna be the best of X. I know I forgot to put this on the topic list to update it, but we have the Splatoon Community Awards coming out, and okay, I don't know about you guys. Isn't it a little early in the year to do it? I always think of everything happening towards the end of the year. What do you guys think? But in that regard, we do have some nominations. One specifically we wanted to highlight. You can't see it all too well. Let me zoom in. Okay, there's one specific one. If I could get to it, I don't remember where it was. There's a lot of things here, like content creators, I think teams, competitive players, but we also have Splatoon 3 Community Figure Award. And would you look at that? Someone we know is on here.
Whoa.
You want to tell us a little bit more about your nomination and just the community awards in general?
Me?
Yeah. Easy. You're the yeah. I gotta know from from the nominee themselves.
I mean, it means a lot. Especially in like a group of 3. Like I was expecting like a full 4, especially with like how many talented people we have around the scene. But being a part of the top 3 means a lot, especially when you have names like Falco and Sendu, who's probably gonna win it again. But thank you, Sendu.
True.
But yeah, it just means a lot, especially with how much I've been grinding over the past year.
Mhm. Yeah, it definitely did not go unnoticed, all things considered. So definitely you deserve that one. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes there. But I am gonna briefly look through it because it seems like a lot of people. I'm not sure who's in charge of the community awards, but it doesn't matter because I think it's pretty cool. I love the idea of the community awards. But there's a lot of interesting stuff here, so go check it out. You could find it. I think it's circulating Blue Sky. I don't know if it's on Twitter, if that's your preferred thing. Maybe we'll put it in the description of the stream afterwards, especially if you're watching after the fact. But yeah, there's stuff like Weapon of the Year, Stage of the Year, Challenge of the Year, a lot of stuff relating to the game, but there's also a bunch of stuff related to content creators, a bunch of content creators, especially up and coming content creators, even some Salmon Run ones, Legacy, Rising Star, Hidden Gem, a bunch of stuff. So definitely go check it out. Even if you're not like, oh, I don't know any of these people, that's more of a reason to check it out. These people are clearly good for a reason. So go check it out, and then maybe you'll find a new content creator, maybe a new team to root for. Realize that maybe you need to catch up on some stuff. So definitely go check it out. The link will be in the description after the fact, after the stream. But you can also find it on socials and other places. Go check those out. There's even some montages. I know Fern, you're a big montage guy, so which montage are you voting for? You probably watched all of these.
Which montage am I supporting? I mean, I kind
Yeah.
of have to go with Chara because I
Okay.
think Chara is like low key a Mex player and doesn't get enough credit for being like one of the best aimers we have in the at top level in the West. That's my hot take, but
Whoa. Okay.
I think there are other montages that probably should have been on the list. I know.
Yours to toot
I
your own
think
horn.
Whoa. Not mine, not mine. That's not what I said. But like I think Cactus was on a campaign for his TV off one montage, which I think
Oh
was
yeah, that's right.
but it is kind of. I think that was kind of cool to see. I hope in the future, like next year, we'll have more montages, so there'll be like a better selection. But no, I'd have to pick Char. I did think a stage of the year was really funny, considering we got one
Just have
stage this
Urchin
year.
after 1 month of Urchin.
Yeah, it's like I feel like this made more sense like in when the game was getting updates. But it's like, oh, just like a comp map or the only new one. But, or like mode of the year. Like
Yeah. I wonder
I
which
feel
one
like it
it's gonna
has to be
be.
zones.
I like how Salmon
Or
Run is
better.
on it though. I
I love
appreciate them putting it in
we-
that mode.
Yeah, tower
didn't
control
even
notably
add
left
tower
off
control.
the mode of the
Yeah,
year.
what's with the tower control hate? Like,
I thought Rainmaker wouldn't make it because of all the hate Rainmaker's gotten over the past few months, but
what if we vote Rainmaker in just because it's
Yeah, what if we all just vote Rainmaker?
it is the mode of the year. It's gotten the most talk, right? Like all things considered, like we talked about it the most. So I think it is the most of like conversation, I'd say.
That's the thing. Rainmaker's very polarizing, so it has a lot of like very strong haters on one side, but it also has very strong supporters. The people that love
True.
Rainmaker, like they will boast and talk about it. They'll talk your ear off about how much they love Rainmaker, and I don't really see that same kind of support for Land Blitz or especially Tower Control being not on the vote here. Like you can't even vote for it. So
that's true.
Yeah.
There is one diehard Clam Blitz enjoyer I know, and that's Clam_Blitz on Twitch. That account is the Clam Blitz enjoyer.
Next time we need to nominate Clan Blitz for community figure because they are a
That should have been the fourth option. That I've never seen anybody more. Well, okay, there's one person I've seen more dedicated, and that's the Wahoo. Wait, no, is it what's that one stage or that one map on in Smash? It's like I think the Twitter account name is like legalize. It's the one from Wii Resort. I never played Wii Sports Resort. Okay, I have to admit, I'm sorry, but besides that one, I don't think we've seen anything more diehard for like a mode.
We gotta find out who runs that account at some point because it's so funny. Like it's so funny.
That's my favorite chatter of all time. Like genuinely my
Yeah.
favorite chatters. So Clan Blitz, if you're watching
Highlight.
this, I hope you
That's the
appreciate the
only
shout out.
reason anyone. That's the only reason anyone tunes into SOS. Is to see Clan Blitz.
No, it's funny
No,
when
it
Clan
had.
Blitz enters an Splat Zones only stream.
Yeah, they're like,
It's
the
very
first time
funny.
it was like the first SOS where it was zones only. They showed up. I'm like, one of the TOs was like, "Sorry to inform you." We just started playing. But yeah,
Oh my
no, I feel like
gosh.
it's been so hilarious seeing all the crash outs of a Rainmaker on Twitter, like in the
Oh my
wake of
gosh,
Super Jump,
yes.
and then in the wake of Super Jump where everyone was forced to play it. Um, but yeah. Okay, I think we should talk before we like do any bracket predictions or um
Woohoo Island. It
uh
was, sorry. It was Woohoo.
Woohoo Island,
Yeah.
bracket predictions or like discussion of like who's going to win. I feel like we should go kind of just like go over the teams for this Splat World Series Finals.
hmm
Um
Let me
as a
pull
preview.
yeah, let me pull up the teams here. Okay. So Z, can you preface this off being the head of the event and everything? Could you tell us a little bit about these teams that we see on the Sendo page?
I can tell you their names.
That's fair. Go for it.
I can tell you a bit about them.
Okay,
If
okay.
it'll load. Thank you. So we
Mhm.
got for the invincible the invincible fleet Raymaru, we have Lobster. You all should know them.
Mhm.
S Blast. Then we have Grand Roll. And I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Niagara. And then we have Raymaru.
Oh,
So this is an S Blast Dreadbringer heavy edit splash team.
okay. Okay. That's wait, Dreadringer. I didn't realize. Oh my gosh, all the I mean I know they like Dreadringer over there, but all the Dreadringer mains are gonna be start rejoicing after this event. They're gonna have a lot to study. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty interesting. I think in general, I think this is gonna be a big thing. I know people like watching. Sorry, not to derail you going over it, but I just had a thought. But like, I can't wait for all the analysis of all the games. That's all I have to say. I'll get into it later.
Then we have False Stream, who has Takanoko, Shumon, Ko, and Wobo. And their weapons are Squeezer, Splash, Slosher, and Pen, respectively.
I've not seen Squeezer in forever. Good to see. And then Hornet. It just makes me
Hornet.
think of what's it called? It didn't get announced today at the Nintendo Direct, and I was upset about it. Silk Song, yes, dude. Sorry.
We have Millicrop, Kurokuro, Vibuten, and Kamatan. Who play Sniper Rider, Neo Splash, Slosher, and Splatana Library, respectively.
Mhm. I have to say they have such cute profile pictures. I don't know if you could see it stream, but like you're so cute.
Yeah. Then for Takoyaki Party, we have Rusu, Toto, Kontan, and Okuda, who are Splattershot, Min, S Blast, and Heavy Edit.
Okay, heavy edit. Heavy edit means you're also gonna have a lot to review. That's gonna be exciting for them.
I think yeah. I mean if you haven't heard of Toto by now, you probably should.
What are you doing?
Living under a rock, surely.
I can't believe they're only seed 7 right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so devastating for us. Not to spoil, sorry.
For Dragon Rex, we have Momo, Narisho, Kodaji, and Kino Channel. Sniper Rider, Splatana, Sniper, Splat Toys, and Inkbrush Nouveau.
Alright, Inkbrush. Inkbrush is on the rise, I gotta say. People have been playing it. So tell us a little bit about Utopia.
Utopia has Kiami, Art, Niru, and Rubitan, who are Slosher, Mint, Enzap 85, and Snipe Rider / E-Leader. So we do have an E-Leader representation.
Oh shoot, you're right.
But
Futilla does have theirs. Yeah, that's crazy. See that? This is such a cute name, Samurai Cat.
Samurai Cat, who has Manya, Samurai Kasato, Sumaru, and Hitukuchi Taberu, who plays Slosher, another E-Leader, 52 Gal, and S-Blast.
Oh yeah, this is the coolerless team, right? Or like,
Yeah, this.
Oh, they were on
this-
coolerless?
oh no, I think this is just the 52 pencil team.
Okay,
But
50.
they're like the shooting. I kind of am interested in watching them because we don't see a lot of Gal nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, for final weapon, we have Natiu, Miramiya, Tukuyomi, and Azu, who play Snipe Rider, Octobrush, Splatana Stamper, and Spider Shot Pro.
Nice. I'm excited to see. I wish I knew more about the teams individually. I've only like glanced at Area Cup too early for me. Yeah. I am interested to see like those teams really go about it. I mean, I think we know the seeding for the Western teams pretty well because I mean we've been keeping an eye on them. They've been playing it at times reasonable for us. But what do you all think about the brackets or those teams so far? I know we've have them all officially announced on IPL channels, right?
Yes.
Nice.
I think there are going to be a lot of eyes on Miramiya for Octobrush. I know Miramiya was one of the players who played like one of the like recent in the zones with Ku and Goss and you. Breaking Sam
Right.
streak. RIP. On track to win all the all the ITZs in the 40s. But so like they've been making waves in NA tournaments and being I think basically the only Octobrush. I think right.
Yeah.
So that was them.
Another Octobrush user.
Yeah, Mirami is like I think they're going to be watched. I know Almojo was pretty hyped to see them qualify. So yeah, I think like I want to pose the question of that will probably give us like a decent amount of time to answer of like, do you think is it feasible that we will see a Western team in Grands and then an extension like Western representation in either top 4 or top 8? Like, what do you think our chances are? Just like, and feel free to like have a long response to this one for anyone. I'll probably chime in, but like, what do you think our chances are at placing, just like broadly?
Let me pull up this bracket real quick.
And we can talk about the brackets. Like, I think we'll do a bracket prediction, like more detailed. But like, even like regardless, like, what do you think is it possible that we have an even representation? Because I think this is like when we had Falco on last week, he was talking about how the event might not be the most attractive for viewers, like in later stages, because if all the Western teams just get kind of smashed, then you're basically just watching like Area Cup Super. And like they were talking about how Falco was saying that he doesn't know if that's the best, like that's an attractor for North American, like, or European, or just Western viewers in general. But just like anyway, I think we should talk about just like what we think the chances are for the West in this tournament, because it's kind of the big question.
I actually want to answer it on the viewer perspective. Actually, I completely understand that, and I think that's a real possibility. But I think viewers will still innately be interested, just on premise, because like this is supposed to be like a world's event, right? And I think of like League of Legends, right? League of Legends has a lot of viewership, right? And NA, or even just the West in general, just like Splatoon, doesn't really see a lot of representation. at all. It's like, honestly, it is like a big NA win whenever they do make top 8 or top 4 or even like get close to semis, right? It's actually like genuinely like a moment of celebration. And while I don't think a lot of more casual viewers will be like familiar with that, because obviously the only glimpse of the West they see is like, or of competitive, is the West. I think they'll still be interested to see who gets crowned, at least, especially if the broadcast does a good job of like, kind of building up these storylines for individual players, and especially the ones that they think are going to make it deep into the bracket. Mostly just because in that regard, I think we could build narratives like, for example, like people love a Faker storyline. I love a Faker storyline. Faker is one of the best League of Legends players ever known. It's probably the most household esports names or gaming names, honestly, in the world. And I think if you could like build a narrative around that, be like, this guy is basically like the Faker of Splatoon, right? I think you could build up a narrative where people still want to watch and will even be invested in a team or even an individual player from Japan. I think that's a real storyline that we could see it come about from that. But as for the competitive aspect, I don't know. What do you think, Zach? I'm kind of I need to build my thoughts on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak broadly. I'll match sort of your League of Legends analogy with an Overwatch analogy because it's what I'm more so familiar with. But like you had a team like the Shanghai Dragons who very famously went 0-40 and then lost their next two the following season, but people were following that storyline. I think it was even picked up on actual sports networks as being the longest losing streak in professional sport or esport history until it was finally broken. So you can take sort of a similar concept and transpose it to the West success generally against the East. Now we've had a couple of shining moments and have been able to circumvent the odds. I think to the question of how well is the West going to do this time around, I could definitely see 2 to 3 teams making top 8 or finishing top 8. And I would love to see and think we definitely could see at least one Western team in top 4. Grands, that might be a stretch. I think there's a lot of talent. I mean, you look at the top team like Igora and Raymaru, even among Western and even more so casual viewers, I think pretty household names in that regard. But there's a lot of great storylines in the West, and I think some of them bringing over that success and how much they have like steamrolled, especially through the first qualifier, and how close some of those teams were. Like FT Win and Moonlight going to Game 5. I'd love to see if any of the Western teams end up facing it out, and maybe that gets them a win in the lower side of the bracket. I'm not sure if they're going to split it to where they're going to try and match as much East versus West in the lower side of the bracket as possible. But you might end up getting some teams that make top 8 or top 4 that way. So I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep at the very least. I think viewership wise, as I mentioned, people love sort of that David and Goliath sort of who's going to come out on top between this region that has so much stacked talent and regularly competes against each other at a high level, even though they have much more of that pickup style of play where there's hardly any established teams that last for a very long time. And maybe that's something that if folks that are rooting for the West, if they need another reason to root for them, that team mentality, especially even if it's just that teams formed or stayed together or practiced harder as a result of trying to get to this point and participate in this tournament, that we can cheer for those efforts. So I'm gonna stick out for the Western teams and say 2 to 3 of them at least make top 8 and hopefully at least one top 4.
I have to agree. I will say if anybody makes top 4, and obviously this is like a no-brainer because duh, they're the number 1 seed, but it has to be PXG. I mean, I feel like just talking about like just skill gaps, and I'm only going off results here. There's like everybody else, and then for like the past few months it's been PXG. Like a big gap. So I know they've even had their own troubles, especially with Gray talking about scrims and feeling very defeated about it, especially with some of the higher seeds. But like we could see at least like a winner semis, which is a top 6 placing from PXG, I think at least. I mean, I know all the teams from Japan are stacked. But I think they could at least maybe eke out. If they eke out a top 4, I will tell you right now, I'm going to be jumping for joy. You know, I will be doing that. If anyone does it, it's PXG, and if anyone does it, that's not PXG. I don't know what to do there. Honestly, I don't. I'd be so genuinely impressed. I'd have to see it for myself. But I think the most important thing. Well, I've seen people say that, like, when it comes to, like, people, whenever they've gone up against the West, they get, like, their butts handed to them so, like, thoroughly that, like, they don't even know what it is that they lost to, like, why it was. And while I believe that, because I felt that before as well, in just, like, other games, right? Especially when you play against someone who's actually good at the game and you're, like, brand new to it, you're like, I don't even know what I did wrong. Well, I understand that. I think if we are able to get as much footage and, like, information from this event as possible, this event could really catapult the West in a lot of way, and kind of a rubber band effect, because we're having so many different playstyles from the West face up a bunch of different playstyles from Japan. And I think there is opportunity for VOD review and a lot of, like, interesting, observational stuff, and especially in how people play the game. And I think it's important. I think something like this is important for the entire scene, especially in the West, to grow and see what the other regions are doing, and how to adapt to it. And then not only that, learn from it and then catch up, at least. Even if by the time we catch up to where they're at, they're already a year ahead. It feels like, from the way people talk about it, I haven't seen it with my own eyes. I mean, I have seen it in some results, but, like, they're like 2 years. So if we could at least shorten the gap by 1 year, and we actually get a bunch of talented analysts and coaches and captains of these teams to sit down and not just be like, oh, well, that sucks, disband. And we get them to actually, like, sit down, review stuff, see where they can improve, actually, like, metagame and think about where things are going in that direction in terms of improving and catching the rest of the scene up to that level, then I think I'd be happy with whatever we place if we see that afterwards. What do you think? Do you think we're gonna learn from it, or do you think we're just gonna get the like you said, Zach, the 2 or 3 top 8, and then we're like, we made top 8, we didn't get completely destroyed. We'll take our winnings and go home and play, I don't know, whatever weekly bracket, and just go back to normal, go back to status quo.
I mean, each team has their own mentality and reasons for playing, right? So I know some teams are probably, like we discussed earlier, they may have gotten together just for this tournament, and after this tournament, they might be taking a break, they might be trying other team opportunities. So that aside, I do think what you're saying about them taking the VOD from this, and they probably already have from Area Cup and from even their past placing in either Super Jump or Splat World Series qualifiers, where they can look at and see what's working well for them and what's not. One thing that was really interesting is seeing what of the new weapons is being played, and there's not a whole lot. I think the West is trying out more at a high level than the East, from what I've seen. I know there were some. The splatter shot was being played in the East. I know at least one team used the splatter shot Pro Frozen. But in the West, you had people using, like, the Rattler, and Mini Splatling has been pretty popular in the East as well. So to see that come out, I think will be fun too. That's part of what I want to see as a result of this, is not just the West versus the East, but also cementing more what the new meta looks like. We talked earlier about how the 52 is kind of maybe going out of favor a little bit if a team does well with it at this tournament. I think the West tends to look at placements that the East makes, especially if it's a rare opportunity like this, where it's East versus West, and see weapons with more reverence if they get a high placement in that tournament, or if they were sort of writing it off beforehand, start to review it more heavily. And with the experimentation that the West has done with weapons like the Rattler or with the Splattershot Pro Frozen, and even getting other variants of those weapons into their comps, like I've seen the Forge start to be played a little bit. So bringing that in, I'd love to see, if nothing else, teams get more comfortable with this new meta after 10.0. And then I'm sure there will be at least a couple of Western teams that, despite their placements, will take solace in the fact that they made it to the Splat World Series and see how well they can duke it out against these Eastern teams and look for opportunities to, if another tournament like this doesn't come out in the immediate future, at least try and see if they can get scrims in, or may use it as motivation to get into a plus server or something that will expand their competitive repertoire as a result.
What do you think, Fern? Z, I know you've been looking back through, like, specifically VODs and replays from the West recently for qualifiers. Are you excited towards like being able to review a lot of the, not just the matchups from the East, but also just the difference between it? Because I think it would be pretty interesting and fun to see like people dissect, it's like a surgical operation. If it really is that bad, like I'd like to see what it is that the East is doing that is completely dismantling teams from the West. So are you excited towards like being able to sit down and review it, making the tournament just so you could be like, finally, we could see, finally, it's been so long.
I have access to the replay codes that I've been wanting for so long. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun, the tournament and after, and seeing what goes on.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see if I wake up early for it. I have to wake up early for it. I'm running the stats for it, but the stats are very interesting. I even have the qualifier 2 stats that I'm working on getting out, but I'll put them out somewhere tomorrow. Don't worry. Yeah. What's next? Oh, Fern. Oh, I don't know if you were saying anything, but your mic's muted. It keeps happening. It's a curse, dude. I'm telling you. We couldn't hear you. I don't know how long we couldn't hear you for.
I wasn't saying anything for a while. Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
Perfect.
Z, like, not even just like from when you've seen the teams, like when it was decided that it was going to be like a West versus Japan thing, at that moment, like, how did you think we were going to do?
I thought we were gonna get beaten pretty badly. I don't think we're gonna get swept, but I think Japan has a significant leverage over us currently, as it stands now.
That makes sense. I'm actually curious because before we get into bracket prediction stuff, we still have some time on our hands. I kind of want to start asking a few questions because we have the unique opportunity to talk with you, especially on a public stage. If chat, you want to recommend any questions as well, but like I want to ask a little bit about like the work getting into it, because I know Popgun's talked about it. I know he's been like very intertwined with the inner workings of the event, but I'd like to know from your perspective, what were like some challenges, especially in that like cross communication between a lot of things? Were you worried, especially competitively, in that regard? Like, could you tell us a little bit more? And I think it's been a big question for a lot of people. I don't know how much you could divulge, but like what was like my biggest question, at least, is like what was the reasoning behind a lot of the teams, and like are these like teams that we can find, or are these just like were they forced into pickups to make things more fair? Like I'm kind of curious on that regard. Like what is the rationale, if you know, about the Japanese teams that were chosen?
I don't know. They were
Okay.
all selected by Area Cup, so
Okay.
If you have questions for Area Cup, ask them, I guess.
That's fair. Okay, so you just kind of gave them control over that. Because I heard some people say, "Oh, this is like an Area Cup crown team," and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe they chose it from that." But okay, that's pretty interesting to know. Were there any other challenges going into it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it kind of ties into that, but one of the probably the biggest issue we had going in is following Nintendo's tournament guidelines. because Japan is really strict about it compared to the West. Like that's why like back in the day you heard Pop Gun talk about, oh, there's this new proving grounds, and obviously you see now there's no proving grounds. It's
Mm.
because we can't use the branding anymore. So Splat World
Oh,
Series
okay.
was invented, and we
Oh,
had to
okay.
do a new logo and everything. Um, and then the other part of it is you for the Japanese side at least they can't run qualifiers for it, so they just
Mm.
had to pick teams from events that were not technically qualifiers, because they can't explicitly make qualifiers for it. So it
Okay.
was a bit awkward there. So, but
Mhm.
otherwise, yeah, that was probably the biggest obstacle we had to face.
Oh, okay.
I see
Yeah,
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah, because it was kind of my perception that like they were using area cups as qualifiers.
So like some of the teams like you might recognize from Crown, and that was before Spot World Series was announced. So it wasn't technically a qualifier. They just said, "Hey, you want to come play?" And then some of them said yes, some of them said no,
Okay,
and
so
that's
like a
how we
true
worked around.
invitational.
Yeah,
Okay. Hmm. That's pretty interesting. And you mentioned the branding thing. Like, I don't know how intertwined you were with that. I know like Ellie has been doing really good with the branding and everything, but like, how much of a say did you have into it? And if you did, like, what was your reasoning behind, like, for example, naming, like, why World Series? I think of baseball when I think of World Series, um,
yeah,
and like the crown aesthetics, which awesome logo. That is an amazing logo.
yeah. I didn't have much into the like the logo itself. I thought it was really cool. I trust Ellie and the design team with that. Um, Initially, Area Cup, we were stumbling on a name because we were trying to fit World Cup into it,
Mm-hmm.
for the search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Area Cup goes, hey, what about the Splat Global Series? And then I went, how about Splat World Series, to tie
Mm-hmm.
in with the baseball thing. And I think it just rolls off the tongue better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it was born.
I like that name a lot more too than the global series. Although I do like the use of global as opposed to world sometimes, because worlds does get overused, but it gets overused for a reason because people look in worlds. Like if I
Yeah.
want to see Splatoon World Championships, well, Splat World Series also shows up. So that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see, like, hopefully more really well branded events. One like opinion I personally have is that, like, I think a lot of tournaments could, like, learn a lot. Like, I know I mentioned, oh, the teams are going to use this as an opportunity to really, hone their craft. They're going to learn from this. They're going to use this as experience, and the rest of the community will too. But I think, like, on a tournament organizing perspective, I know, like, earlier in the year there was a lot of conversation about, you know, oh, there's too many tournaments. Oh, there's too many low quality tournaments. Oh, there's too many tournaments for X division thing, right? Those were just a lot of the narratives I saw around. And we're seeing, like, so far in this year, two really big tournaments that have really stepped out and really done something different from the rest in a lot of different ways. Um, and we saw, for example, really uh, interesting qualifiers, tying in the community in a lot of different aspects, tying in a lot of skill levels in a lot of different aspects, and really enticing people to play in these tournaments without a prize pool, which I think is a big aspect of it. I know part of the reason the prize pool doesn't exist for Splat World Series has to do something with the guidelines and whatnot, but in terms of just like getting people to participate, because previously people thought, oh, you just throw $200 towards the prize pool and I could get top players. But we see that like the $200 works, but like you only get like 9 teams, because the only 9 teams feel like going up against like essentially the best of the best. But here we saw people of all skill levels give their shot at it, even if they knew they weren't going to make it far, just to be a part of the event. So what do you think really did well for this tournament that made it really different from a lot of the other ones that have been going on?
I think like part of it is just like the length. Having sort of this like mini circuit going on helps a lot, and it allows us to do things like the team trailers. Like, just imagine like having that as something like you can look back on. And, and they're put together super well. Just a high quality trailer of you and your team who made it and gets to recognize themselves as one of the best 8 teams in the West.
It's true. I agree, but I think it's definitely gonna. I like the branding. I think the branding goes a long way in terms of that. And I hope to see that a lot of tournament organizers look towards this event and the LAN Championship Showdown as like real events to look towards when they want to build up, their own events. And hopefully they'll elevate the quality of a lot of tournaments in the West in terms of, I think, branding and marketing. I think those are two big things. But Fern and Zach, what do you guys think really makes this tournament stand out from the rest as like spectators and viewers? What does this tournament do, you think, that the other ones aren't? Because I mean, this tournament is getting a lot of views and eyes, and especially as a commentator, even as someone, I would consider you more of an analyst, Fern. Like, what makes this tournament more enticing to y'all?
So, I mean, I think the most obvious one is production value, and like I don't think Ellie gets paid, but they deserve a raise from what they've been doing for SWS. But like the the quality of the broadcast and like the branding for SWS has just been unreal. Like in comparison to like even the LAN Championship Series, where the branding was really really good, and it's like this had like a ton of warning. Like we knew that they were like the announcement was gonna come like a long time in advance. Like the trailer was insane. Like the stream is super super well produced. I mean, like we've been doing stats for this thing, and like I think those have done a decent amount to attract people. Like but just like visually, I mean, it looks better. Like it looks more official than like a lot of other Splatoon tournament streams, and I feel like that's drawn a lot of people in. I know like it is sort of us trying to make our own like grassroots world championship, because I don't think we'll be getting any official world championships for a long time. But like if we can make this one sort of like as official as possible, and I think they've like you guys at IPL have kind of succeeded in that. Like it is very very well done, like just on the production and branding side. On the biggest thing, I also think it's like the fact that Area Cup is there, and like the fact that it was attached to Super Jump has just like the prestige attached to this tournament is kind of high. Like the idea of being the best, of being like you have a shot at being the best in the world, like from like an outside esports side, like this is an international major, like that's been set up really well. And like I think you can like people sign up to like Fry Basket because they want to make like $25, but like people sign up to In the Zone because they want to be the team that wins In the Zone, just off of like essentially the aura that tournament has. And like I think this the perception of the Splat World Series is like, okay, this is the point of this tournament is to determine the best team in the world. Is I think has gone to a lot of people being like, hey, I want to have a shot at that. And like that's a lot of like just like as a spectator, I'm like I really wanted to play this tournament, and like I didn't have I didn't have the option to, but I was like, I knew I wouldn't have made it very far in the qualifiers, but I was like, I totally would have played. Just because like playing, I mean, even if you don't go very far, it's like, oh, I played in international major qualifiers. Like that's cool, just like just by virtue of like signing up for the tournament. So I think like that perception of it, that like the branding and the production value helped to like perpetuate is like a big part for me of how like much hype is attached to it.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I kind of want to like elaborate a little bit on your point about just like the importance of in participating in an open event, despite not being even being close to being like say top 4, right? I think there is like merit to it. I think Splat World Series does that really good, or does that really well, because I think of it in terms of like, for example, Smash is like an example I take a lot of from that. Like, you go to a major tournament and there's like a bunch of reasons to go to a major tournament. It's in person, you get to see your buddies, you get to go hang out with friends, you get to go to a new place, you get to explore the area, check out nightlife, do whatever it is you do at like a land like Riptide. Nobody really cares about their placement there. But I think another aspect of it is that when there are big events that people care about, that like even if you don't make, for example, like top 8, like even if you make top 16 or 32 out of a big bracket, and you get a lot of people to buy into it, to say like, oh, maybe I'm a Div 3 player, I know I'm not going to win, but if I'm a Div 3 player and I make top 16 at an event that's like 64 teams, and it's going to be like, wow, like I didn't make it all the way, but I still made top 16, and I get to brag about that. Really, I'd be like, I made top 16 at a really big event that was an international major qualifier. And I know it's technically still results culture, but like I feel like a lot of people only view results like in terms of like, oh, I beat X team to this. Oh, I won the tournament, or at least made podium. But I think we should also give credits and talk about more like making certain placements at bigger events, just because when we do that, I think that encourages even lower level teams to play in it. Because it, like a lower level team, let's say they just freshly got banned from low ink, even if they go 1-2, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Especially with the amount of teams that are signing up for like a SWS qualifier, I think that goes crazy. So I hope we see like a lot more tournaments like this where it's open, but also like a lot of like an in the zone would be the only thing that would exist after this that could prove that. And I hope more mid-level and even low-level people start signing up for tournaments like this, knowing that they might get their butts kicked, but as long as they maybe brought in another team that they scrim a lot, maybe to try it out just for the sake of it, not just for the practice. That's like a big copium thing that I see a lot of people say. It's like, oh, do it because you occasionally need to get your butt kicked by better teams, which is true, but like sometimes that can feel demoralizing. But I think it's interesting to be like, also let's at least try to go 1-2, and then if we go 1-2, we could put that in our results, so I think that should be a mentality we see forward. But I'm also curious, Zach, from a likely talent, were you on broadcast for qualifier 1?
I don't know, I wasn't for 2, and I don't
or for 2
being
for 2
1 either.
Okay,
no, not for 2. I was not for 2.
Are you going to be for this? I mean, I know you're a very storied commentator regardless.
For the finals? Well, thank you. Yes, I will be on for finals. So I should be on the second block on the IPL side of things.
Okay, perfect. So how do you feel about like a big tournament like this, especially being invited to come out and, do it, from a commentator perspective? How do you feel about a tournament like this, and what does it do for you as a commentator as well, now that which is pretty big, block 2 finals is going to be amazing. Congrats.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, Nine loves to talk about, and I agree with him, the olden days where we would have more regular English casts of Splatoon, like Japanese or East Coast tournaments, where you would have to get up maybe 4, 5, 6 Central Time to be able to cast them, and still you were able to get an English broadcast over Japanese gameplay, which was huge for the time, because then you could have some communicated sense of what's going on. You're not just having the VOD replays come through, you're having that hopefully extra added entertainment value. And anytime you can have this sort of cross collaboration between the East and the West, it makes for very interesting storylines. I think somebody earlier in the show brought up that being able to follow the storylines, it's not just having established teams that are there that you can know going into it ahead of time and root for outside of just rooting for players, but tracking them across the tournament. And you mentioned, what is this tournament doing that, you want other tournaments to do or that you'd love to see in the future? I think the multiple streams is fantastic. Having just one stream really limits your ability because you don't want to make teams wait. You really want to make sure that the tournament, as a TO, of course, flows smoothly. You don't want to be holding up match after match after match and have it last 4 or 5 hours to do commentary when it could go only 2 or 3. But you still want to get as many of those commentated over, recorded live, have people see them live. And then obviously, if you need to go back and watch the replay codes, you can certainly do so. But having the multiple fantastic Splatoon organizations that we have get together, having the Splatoon tourney side of things, having IPL, having Dapple, all these folks that are broadcasting these tournaments of all sizes. I liked your analogy about Smash. You can even think of these weekly tournaments as side events that go on at a big LAN. So it's not the thing you're going to write home about if you do well in one of the side events, but you're still going to take that and learn from it. And to even, if you pick up a good result against another team, that's something you can track. But I love that this tournament allows for not just the culmination of hard work and giving teams something to work toward, but the promotion of each of the teams, both West and East, so that if you're on socials, even vaguely, like if you're on Blue Sky or if you're on Twitter and you are following something like IPL, you're able to see before you go into your Twitch or your YouTube and you see that the tournament is live, you can have a sense and be able to prepare for what to expect from the tournament. And so in the past, tournaments were kind of very slapdash. They were, I think, more lax with, okay, you can sign up pretty late. And a lot of like high level teams wouldn't sign up until 1 to 2 hours before the tournament. So as a TO or as a commentator, you didn't really know what you were going to expect in that tournament, who was going to participate. Like, is this big team going to show up or not? Or I think even in the past, there were more late, dropouts or, oh, this person didn't wake up. So, we're not going to be able to compete. I don't think there's going to be much of a risk of this, even though it is early. There's a lot of high stakes here. So I think that's something that thankfully we won't have to deal with. But I love the fact that teams, at this level are striving for maintaining their relevance, maintaining that they can stand up against these teams from the East. And then from a broadcast and commentary side, that you can bring some of these storylines in from at least 3 tournaments, Super Jump and then the 2 qualifiers for the Splat World Series directly, and reference that not just with stats, which I know Beep is doing such a great job of bringing to the broadcast. I have to second Ellie as doing a fantastic job, with the clean looking graphics and having that be supplemented with the stats. But to have those storylines fresh and ready, so you're not having to manufacture or stall them, which happens quite regularly if there's a delay for whatever reason in commentary. But as much of that as you can avoid and bring tangible, deep, questions and storylines for your fellow casters and for the viewers as well, that always makes the experience better.
Agreed.
Right.
I also want to shout out on the design side, Inkfair and Azalea, because they've also been working on it, and those are my goats. Like, I steal from Inkfair every day. But but yeah. What's next, Fern? What's next on the chopping block?
I think we're far enough in that we could start our bracket prediction.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we'll be able to tell like which sets, like loser sets, correspond to which winner sets. But I think we could at least do like a winner's bracket prediction.
Oh, you're right. Oh wait, that should probably be a thing. Oh, that's a suggestion. Like when you click on a bracket thing in start.gg and you get a little like, oh, the winner from blank came in through to this match. That'd be cool to have for Sendo.
Yeah, it's like
it's forecasted, right?
Yeah, forecasted. Yeah, that would be nice to like show the bracket thing. Although we technically do have insider info, Z. You can tell us which one's going to which, but
you can tell us.
yeah. So I think we could start doing it. I've never used this site before, so you guys are gonna go through it with me. Let's click start tournament. Okay, start tournament. how does this work? Okay, so first up we have the Invincible Fleet Raymaru versus Free Flow.
Okay.
Salute to Free Flow. Y'all my goats.
Salute.
07.
07.
This is probably
As-
gonna be a 2-0.
Yeah. As much as I think everyone loves Free Flow, and I would love to see them do well in this tournament, I think that they may or may not lose to what is this? The Lobstar Grand Roll Nigora team.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. Like, this is, yeah, I don't. Yep.
All love,
I
but
feel like you can
that
safely
yeah.
salute
Oof.
for Free
Yeah.
Flow,
Oof.
our martyrs, so that none of the other Western teams take the hit. But
For real. Okay, so next up we have Moonlight versus Dragon Rex. How are we feeling?
okay, I kind of think that this is like a set that Moonlight could feasibly win, but looking at the comp of Dragon Rex, where they're gonna be running like Stamper and Brush Dualies, and like thinking about like I'm just thinking about like Hypernova in the West, like running a similar like super aggro comp, like 52
Mhm.
Wiper. What's the other one? 52 Wiper something. Octobrush. Like I think, and Moonlight like struggles really hard against those kind of comps. I don't know if they're gonna be able. Like I can feasibly like aside from the fact that they're playing like Noritio,
Mhm.
I think this is like I can feasibly see them winning this, but I think comp wise, I would expect Dragon Rex to come out on top.
Mhm. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, do you think it'll be a 2-1 is the real question, I think. I think like what you said about the comp things, it was swaying me a little bit, but I don't play, so you guys need to fill in the gaps for me. Especially Z, I know you have more of a thing on that. Is the comp difference that much of a detriment? Because I mean, I can't speak on like you said, like when it comes to Moonlight, they're amazing. They play a comp that like forces people to have to swap off to counter it. But when people like swap off to counter it, they normally get countered. They normally don't like bounce back. They don't adapt on time, I would say. Just seeing from like the sets or just seeing like top players talk about it briefly, being like, I've seen like specifically, I think it was like that Freedom Dive tournament. Like Jared was after the fact saying like, or I don't know, it was somebody from that Milk Duds roster, I think, or that Milky Way roster, I think. It was just like, oh yeah, you know, we were trying to brute force it, but like I got so tired towards the end, I was like, screw it, we're just gonna pick a comp that counters yours directly. And I mean, they held their own, but it clearly didn't win them that tournament. And then, like you said, Hypernova has been able to get their number. I mean, they did adapt in that tournament because they went down to Hypernova in losers, and then when they met them again in losers, they actually like beat them on the run back. So I don't think it's impossible, but like you need to have that adaptation mid set, not in the run back
Yeah.
later on in the bracket. But that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah. And also, like, outside of comp, it's Momo Noritio. And, like, Momo
Yeah.
single-handedly made Black Lotus the best team in the West for, like, a week. So, Kotachi is, like, perennially at the top of the X leaderboards. I think we can, like, relatively safely predict... I would relatively safely predict a Dragon Rex win on this one. I don't know if
Okay.
you, like,
Yeah.
Z, if you have... Or Zach, if you have any different takes.
No, nothing different on my side. I think Noritio is one of the few Japanese players that I know quite well, and they have a pretty
Mhm.
scary looking composition. The people that run Ink Brush, they first of all, the finger strength is crazy, and just their ability to run around and cause absolute mayhem, I think,
Mhm.
will do enough damage in itself to cause people to swap if they need to. So yeah, I'd probably take Dragon Rex.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking Dragon Rex as well.
2-0 or 2-1.
I think it's a close 2-0.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Okay. Dragon Rex. You're up. Did I do the I put Moonlight as the one getting 2-0? Okay. Thankfully, it lets me change it. This site's not bad, but it only lets you have one tournament up to 16 teams. But for bracket prediction, I don't think we need more of that. So Milky Way versus Samurai Cat. Here, this is the 4th versus 13th seed. What do we think?
Okay.
Second
I
best
wanna
from the
say-
West.
Yeah, I want to say Milky Way.
You want to say Milky Way? Okay.
I can see them losing because it's still a top. Like, I feel like you can never be like definitively we're gonna win this set.
Mm.
But like I feel like the Japanese teams are just so strong that like I can't 100% say, but I feel like this is a set that Milky Way is very capable of winning.
But if they
in my
win,
mind,
it's a 2-1, is what you're saying.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could be another like close to I'm not really familiar with any of these players, but like I want to believe in Milky Way, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Z, what did you say the Samurai Cat team was playing?
Wait, hold up. Slasher E-Leader 52-9 S plus.
Oh yeah, E-Leader. Oh, okay. I watched Jared's video beforehand, so there's a little bit of like, like a personal thought, his thought pattern when it going into it. He did mention, because this is the E-Leader team. That's right. He did mention that he's feeling a little off about that E-Leader. Feels like that could really take them by surprise because it's an E-Leader. Nobody really plays E-Leader all that often. I mean, I think it was like in the zone we did see a little bit of E-Leader. But like I think that's like the last time we actually saw E-Leader top 4 at like a major event, a top level event. So like that could cause some issues. I mean, I saw those clips from that player. I forgot who it was, but like the E-Leader play is nasty. So like I don't know. I forget like Milky Way's comp, but like I know like for example maybe it's like a dualies player on Jared, and that could be something to be worried about. It's not. It's an adaptation because I think they play E-Leader, like you said, NZAP. So yeah, I mean, it's not a crazy comp. It's not the most unheard of comp, but like playing around the E-Leaders, I don't know. Maybe the years of playing will come back and just be like, oh, I played against an E-Leader before. I just need to remember. But I think a 2-1. I think a 2-1. I think there's gonna be at least one map where the E-Leader really goes off, especially if they let them pick that one map called Hammerhead.
Hammerhead.
Yeah. They let Hammerhead slip by, it's over.
That seems safe.
Okay. What do you think, Zach or Z? Is it a 2-1 or 2-0?
2-1.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah, give me the 2-1.
Very close to 1. Milky Way. Is this okay? So be honest with me. Are these the only two Western teams making it through, or do we have any faith in Hornet versus Frutella?
Okay.
When is the Milk Crep team?
Yeah, Milk Crep. I'm like, okay, I didn't really know anything about Milk Crep like prior to this like week, but I don't. It kind of seems like they're pretty good, and this team, I believe this is the team with Kuro on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would put my faith in Kuro just off sheer name recognition, honestly. Like,
that's fair.
I mean, it's a 5 versus 12 seed. I love Frutella. It's not like impossible. I kind of feel like they might just get like player like kind of diffed a little bit.
Diffed, yeah, I could see that. Because like I mean, they're a good team. They're a consistent team. I don't think they're inconsistent at all. They've had nothing but consistent placements. And they play consistently. This is a team you can routinely bet on, but I feel like if you bet on them, you're gonna bet on them to lose this match, just because, yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's just how that cookie crumbles. But
yeah,
what do we think? 2-0, guys? Like, is this a slaughter? Is this their besides like is this their second slaughter or what's happening?
I mean, I think it's probably a 2-0. I just looking at Hornet's composition, it feels like one of the more Western weapon compositions of what's being brought. There's not, I think, a ton of surprises. I like that Frutella has a little bit of diversity, and they have a sub possibly, but I think Hornet probably just sticks to the basics and is able to do pretty well. I think Frutella still needs a little bit of incubation time to get their skills up to the level of a team like Hornet.
Agree. 2-0. Now this one, what do we think? I mean, TXG versus Final Weapon.
Let me remind myself who's on Final Weapon. Okay.
I mean, surely if we predict Milky Way to make it past round one, we expect PXG to make it past round one, right, guys?
Right, yeah.
But do we I guess for me the big question is it 2-1 or is it 2-0? Because I know we can't count out any of these top Japanese teams, these top Eastern teams, but like, I don't know, is it too much saying that this could be possibly a 2-1? Or am I putting too much stock in the bottom seed of the Eastern side scene? I'm curious.
I want to say it's like I want to say PXG 2-0.
PXG 2-0. Do we have anybody to corroborate this claim? I need someone to back this up. I'm not confident at all. I can't just go off this one person. Exactly.
I know. In my head, I'm like, I see teams that do very well in tournaments lose games early all the time.
Yeah.
Earlier in the tournament. So like the raw score never tells the full story. It's very like there's a lot of sweeps that were much more ugly than, say like a 3-1 or a 3-2. So I could definitely see this one being 2-1, even if PXG comes out on top.
Okay. So we're casting doubt on Miyamiya. I see. No, I definitely understand that. I don't know. I'm interested to see, because if they go down early and we look dumb in this prediction, and it's okay if we look dumb in this prediction. But like,
I'm dumb all the time, dude. It's more rare that I look smart, to be honest. So if I look dumb, it's just par for the course at this point.
You know what? That's fair. I'd be fine with getting this wrong. I mean, the players are just too good. What can I say?
I'm gonna say that's the goat.
It's not Zera's on Frutella. Aaron just changed his name. Is what Taco's SPL
Yeah,
says.
because I was like, it was messing with me because he has this nation set to Switzerland. I was like, that's not. I don't think that's it.
I just took your word for it. I did not check.
I was looking because I was like, I don't think this is Zerazi, but like, what are we doing this for? Anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with 2-1 PXG. We have if we don't put PXG winning round one, then the West is like truly
It's just
cooked.
cooked. It's cooked.
Yeah.
We might as well just put all the Japanese teams through. Like
if they don't make it, nobody will. We're just nuking this entire bracket. Bottom bracket is just the West qualifier, single elim finals, and then the Japanese teams get to bully like a Western team just to get through the losers in their double elim bracket.
Yeah, they can bully us in the losers, but please give us the top 16 spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Takoyaki Party versus
RIP Hypernova.
Oh,
yeah, Rusu I think is gonna roll through here.
Rusu Chodo versus a team that I think K-Bot has said hasn't been practicing recently. I don't know if that's insider information or not, but
yeah, I did see that. I mean, okay, to be fair to what K-Bot said, K-Bot told us not to expect anything out of Hypernova during Super Jump because they weren't practiced, and they made top 4.
He said,
now, granted, I don't know how much stock you can put in that to take it the next level.
Genuinely surprised about that?
Yes, he was genuinely surprised.
Yeah. Now, okay, counterpoint. It's Toto.
Yeah, true. Yo, the Eastern teams are gonna get the greatest clip compilation here, possibly. Oh my gosh! So let's chalk it up to 2-0.
That's winning.
Okay, my biggest issue about the comments about like little to no practice in K-bot side is that at least when they were going through Super Jump, they were playing their bread and butter. I've seen them play that in person as their bread and butter. When they're comfortable, they can play it out. But like they've been experimenting with a lot of new weapons. As a matter of fact, anytime I see a Dat Kid clip or a Synapse clip, they're not playing a weapon that they normally play on their day to day. They are not. They're playing for fun right now. So yeah, I'm definitely confident in the Takoyaki taking this 2-0. I would say. So Fall Stream versus New Meta. Second to bottom seed, I think they are for the West versus third, or is this a second from Japan? Let me see.
This is second from Japan.
Second, yeah. Yes, third with Takenoko, Shumako, and Wobo.
Oh yeah. I don't know about New Meta's chances on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they really enforce that this new meta thing is actually the new meta.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know.
Meta certainly has been playing really well recently, but I mean, like it's cool. I've heard that Wolbo is kind of like an aimbot player. So let me scroll up. Like, Schumann is just kind of insane. I think that's like a name even I know, and I don't like actually watch any Japanese tournaments. Like I love New Meta, but I feel like this is just kind of a stacked group, and I would be very surprised if they lost.
Yeah, I feel that. 9 in the chat says Tetris on the JP connection. Trust the process. Hey, good work. Listen, I'm telling you, our best chances are if we like up the lag. We up the lag and we just make it unplayable. It's doable. It's doable. But in all seriousness, yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, it's just I feel like it's an easy choice. It's an easy choice when it comes to like the more bottom seeds. Unless they prove us wrong. If they prove us wrong, listen, I won't shut up about it for ages. But now this is, I think, probably the hardest one. Third seed, I think third seed, right? Yeah, third seed from the West. Let me make sure I'm not lying. Yes, third seed from the West versus I think this matchup is where we really see like, okay, is this the top limit of the West in terms of like keeping up with top level Japanese teams? I think so. I think we're starting to hit that cap where the difference is only a few seeds. They've got Kiyomi, Art, Niru, and Rubiton. So how do we feel about this one?
I will admit I don't really know the Japanese players on this team very well.
I don't either.
It's like I kind of want to put FT Win through, but I just like I don't know how much FT Win has been playing. Like Biscuit, I think Biscuit is like only somewhat recently back. Sam hasn't like been super on the grind, as much as he was like in the past. Like I feel like this is one of the times the West could kind of falter in one of our like high seeds. Even though like it looks like seeding wise, like FT Win should be favored. I don't know how favored they actually are. At the same time, I don't think it matters a ton because I feel like whoever wins this is likely going to lose to Full Stream in top 8. So I don't know. I kind of want to put Utopia through, but I'm not really sure. They scrim every day. According to Shaq.
Okay.
According to Shaq.
I mean, I believe it. It's hard to say because truthfully, ever since these teams qualified, we don't really get to see them play again, right? Because everything's behind scrims, and unless you are taking in scrim bucks from Shaq or like just straight up watching their streams when it happens, or watching the enemy POV stream, like you actually get into that scrim mentality and you're like, oh, I'm gonna analyze their scrims, I'm gonna see what they're playing, what are they playing, what are they doing on this map, and really taking everything into account, it's hard to tell because we haven't seen them like compete in anything past Super Jump besides that Freedom Dive tournament. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
even then they didn't. I mean, I know that was most of the team members coming off from vacation. The interview I did with Shadowwind, he said that, and they were like, what, they were unpracticed, so don't expect that to be like their best. But it is the last thing we saw of them, and even before that, like we're seeing consistently, like they're kind of podium gatekeepers, if you will. Like they're kind of the mid dungeon boss where you have to get through them to to finish it, in terms of like, I think of it in like Zelda terms. So like, yeah, before you have to get through them, but they haven't been like getting that top two recently. The last time I could think, at least this year, in big events, are like Sendo Q season 6 finale. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of FT win are you guys expecting? Are we gonna expect them in prime form after all the scrimming, or are we gonna be like they might go out first round and just come back through losers? What do you guys think?
We do have apparently nine and Jack are vouching for FT win, and I kind of have confidence in Sam personally. I think he's kind of like genuinely insane. But so I don't know. I think this is a not an easy one to predict. I want FT Win to win it.
I mean, I do too. Absolutely. You know what? I'm willing to give it FT Win. Why not? Why not? I'm willing to give it to them. But it's definitely a 2-1. I don't think that's non-negotiable. I think that's a 2-1. I think it's a 2-1.
I was checking to see, because I've seen some Japanese Sniper Rider players have been running more of like an E-liter set where they have like respawn Punisher on their clothing. Rubitana is not one of those. They're more kind of bog standard, which is interesting because they have Niru also on the NZAP 85. So they've got this like hard split down the middle where half their team is incredibly supportive and the other half of their team, Yami and Art, are just incredibly Slayer heavy. So they don't have that like sort of traditional skirmisher style. It's just everybody's like, half the team is just like completely in, half the team is completely out. So hopefully it's something that a storied franchise, if you will, like FC Win can handle, at least in a game 3 situation.
Yeah, they could clutch up. I think they could clutch up for sure. All right, so that's round 1 out of the way.
Okay, that's round 1. Z, I'm gonna ask, like, do you know when it becomes best of 5? Is that like winners semis or?
I'm pretty sure it's specified in winner semis.
Okay. The winner semis.
It should be the normal Sendu, the way Sendu has it normally.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's winner semis.
Got it. So I guess we can keep doing 2-1s for now.
All right. Invincible Fleet Ray Maru versus Dragon Rex. I mean,
wait, this one's kinda...
yeah, this is gonna be a stacked fight already. I think. We have, again, for a refresher for everybody, is our first seed from Japan, which is the Grand Roll Reimaru, Nagora, and what was the first person's name? I forget.
Lobster.
There we go. They're the GOAT. Versus Dragon Rex, which is Momo Norishio, Kotaji, and Kino Channel, which I think is pretty stacked too. I mean, those are pretty recognizable names.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
My money is kind of on the Invincible Fleet in Grands. So
I mean,
I think Dragon Rex is kind of really stacked, but I don't know if Norishio is like the tournament hard carry player he used to be in like really early S3. And like, I don't know. It's maybe it's like a close set, but I would kind of go with Reimaru.
Okay, Reimaru, got it. I mean, that's fair. I mean, who seeded the Japanese teams? Was it y'all or was it Area Cup? Area Cup. Yeah. I mean, if Area Cup believes in them as a first seed, who am I to doubt them, right? They're seeding 2-0 or 2-1. think arguably it could be a 2-0.
I think I'll give it a 2-0. I think it's a little bit early for the pressure to be on Nigora and Raymaru and apparently the GOAT Lobster.
I agree. All right, Milky Way versus Hornet. Is this the end of the line? Is this where we start seeing drops? Z, you said honestly, go for it. I need a take.
Oh wait, hold on. Who's Hornet? Actually, I'm not sure. I think this is 2-1. I just don't know who it goes to.
Oh, you think it's close? Okay, I could definitely see that. To be honest, just because I mean they're what, third seed from the East, and Milky Way's fourth seed, but it could be. You're saying it could be close. I don't know what was the team composition on the side of Hornet.
Let me.
For Hornet, it's Snipe Rider, Neo Splash, Slosher, and Wiper.
Oh, okay, so I mean, all things considered, it's not a super weird comp for Milky Way to play into. I don't even think it's a comp you really see all that often. Milky Ways, I think, or no, sorry, I was thinking of something else. Milky Way, they could work with that. I think they could work around that. I think. Do we want to say Milky Way gets a top 6? Because going to semis is top 6. It's a guaranteed top 8.
It's Milk Crip. It's hold on. It's Kurakuro. I could kind of see it being a 2-1 for Hornet. Like I could see us taking a game, but I don't know if we beat these players. If they beat these players.
2-1. That's fair.
Yeah.
Any objections? Because I think that was the vibe.
I don't know about that.
No, I think 2-1 is right.
Okay. I believe it. I was thinking. I think this is the round where, most teams from the West are definitely dropping down. But does PXG? That's really the question we need to know here. Is PXG versus Takoyaki Party really going to? Is this where PXG? Is this the cap for the West in terms of the winners bracket, or is this just, or is it possibly they could sneak through and secure top 6?
I honestly think this Japanese team is harder than Hornet to face.
Okay, yeah.
You just have Rusu and Toto on the same team. It's
yeah. I think it is. I think even Gray would give this one. If Gray were in the chat, not sleeping probably, I think Gray would be like, do not put us winning against. bro is literally the most humble Splatoon player I've ever met, or not met, but like seen. So 2-0, is that? No, well, actually, like you said, it'd be harder than Hornet. But PXG is just a different caliber above, I think, the next two teams. So
I know they're a different caliber, but I don't. I mean,
Rusu,
I don't.
Different caliber.
This
Yeah,
is unlucky
exactly.
bracketing, to be honest. I don't know why this team ended up seed 7, but like it's a little bit unlucky.
It could be close 2-0s.
Yeah, close 2-0. Close 2-0. I think I agree with that. Close
2-0 doesn't mean it's not close. It's just that's what's tough with those best of 3s.
Wrong winner.
True. You
need to swap the winner.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. There we go. All right. So in that case, we just have False Dream versus FT Win. At this point, what are we feeling? False Dream is the number 2 seed versus our number 3 seed. Pretty sure. So I don't know. I mean, False Dream has a lot of good players though. Akanoko, Shuma, Ko, Wobo. I think my personal opinion is that close 2-0 angle. I like the close 2-0. It's a cop out answer.
Yeah.
It's the hopium answer.
FT Win, I think they're playing really well. This is a stacked as hell roster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean Schumann and Ku, and I've heard good things about the other two players. So like, I don't know. I think it like I can see close to 0
Close
being
to
reasonable.
Yeah.
no
I think we're beginning to see
objections.
the picture a little bit.
Yeah, tougher to
Exactly.
justify a win when we've already sent, two teams that are lower seeded on the Japanese side through.
Exactly. Like we gave the Western scene their wins. We gave them their wins. So that's what we have to be happy about. Yeah. All right. So with that, we have Invisible Fleet Raymaru versus Hornet. I mean, I know you guys said you guys wanted the grand finals for Raymaru, so I'm thinking how close is it? How close is it? That's the real question.
3-1.
3-1?
3-1.
I like 3-1.
3-1.
I like 3-1.
I think 3-1. Pretty quick. Takoyaki Party versus False Dream. Dang, these teams are good.
I kind of see like a 3-2 for Takoyaki.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, 3-2. Definitely closer. Okay. Takoyaki Party. Wait, over False Dream? I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Now, Raymaru versus Takoyaki Party. That's the real question. Need to know who's getting that ticket into grands immediately, or do we think the Invincible Fleet will falter before it rises back into grands?
Will they be the Vincible Fleet?
The Vincible. Is Vincible a
Oh
word?
my god.
Is Vincible a word?
It is now, dude. It is now.
Oh my gosh, the Invincible Fleet Raymaru. I mean, if they actually end up like invincible, like flawless streak all the way through, who am I to say that they're not? You know, who am I to say that they're not the Invincible Fleet?
Oh.
What if we go crazy here and just say 3-0? Like not even close. Like I feel like it's I feel like it's one of those cases where we do need a 3-0 here and there. And like I don't know though. Both these teams are incredibly good. It's hard to power skill like Japanese teams for myself because I haven't been as tapped in.
Hard read. I think Raymaru's 3-0, but I think Takoyaki Party wins the tournament.
Whoa, from losers.
Huge.
That's spicy. That's spicy. I
I
like
a throw here as well. We haven't taken a lot of risks yet in the scoring.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta do a throw. Well, that's the winner's bracket. That is the winner's bracket. So
I think kind of what I'm seeing is that I feel like some of the most interesting sets, like in terms of region battles, are gonna happen in losers.
I agree. But you said like inter-region battles or like
like inter-region. Like I think some of the more interesting, like NA versus EU versus Japan's, like West versus Japan stuff is gonna happen in losers.
Oh, it's a good thing we're going straight into losers because we have Free Flow versus Moonlight.
Oh, you can do. Oh,
yeah. There's a winner's part of this.
Okay, I think Moonlight. They've proved that they can win on LAN. I feel like they can win online.
Yeah, they just beat them on LAN. So I think.
Yeah, that's kind of too recent. But how is it? Do you think Free Flow is like they've been grinding it out and they're like, all right, we played against them. We have the VOD. Like, do you think they learned from that and Moonlight's not even thinking about Free Flow, or so is this like a 2-1 angle or close like just 2-0?
Give him the 2-0.
Yeah.
I don't
Whoa.
think last time they played them.
Whoa. Get him out. No.
I think Moonlight's
Send them off, dude.
I think 2-0.
This is where they come back. Samurai Cat versus Frutella. We're seeing matchups of like this is like one of the lower seeded Eastern teams versus one of the lower seeded Western teams.
Yeah. I think second to last seeded Eastern team.
In this series, Frutella might get like map diffed and like pick like good 8-leader maps might get picked and they're kind of just can't do anything.
But Frutella does like playing maps that this at least Snipe Rider doesn't work well, and I can imagine E-Leader would do any better in those maps.
I mean, sure.
I guess it depends on what the first map is. How is the first map determined? Is this counter pick all the way through? Is he?
Its first map is random, then counter picks all the way through.
Okay, so like area
Cool.
cup style. So really, it's up to like the random. Because if we random Hammerhead, that sucks. But if we random like Urchin, that could be a completely different conversation. What do you guys think? I'm thinking Samurai Cat personally. I'm thinking we see a slaughter in losers right now.
I mean, I do think it's Samurai Cat. I'm just like you said with the random aspect is Frutella.
I think the random aspect is so intense here. Like we're playing a game of chance. We're just throwing the dice and seeing what sticks. And if they do get a map that sucks, there's a 2-1 possibility. And this is like Schrodinger's like stat right now. So I'm gonna say like it's an in between of a 2-0 either side. So it's a 2-1. Or not 2-0 either side. I think Samurai Cat takes it like either way, but
Yeah, I can see that. I'm fine with
that. I hate how many hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby matches there are. Hypernova out 0-2.
The Octobrush matchup, right? Like,
oh wait, this is an Octobrush matchup? Okay, I forgot. Oh
yeah. This
bracket is really this losers bracket is really funny. We had double 10 earlier.
Oh, what do we think? I guess these are.
I mean, I feel like Final Weapon is gonna take this one.
Yeah.
I don't see Hyper winning it.
Yeah.
I don't even think
used all of his luck.
Yeah. I think K-Bot has used all of his luck. I'm thinking like that same exact narrative. I think it does run out. It does run out here, I think. And then New Meta versus Utopia. Utopia is how far up? They're the
third lowest East seed.
Yeah, third lowest. 9 did bring up a good point about those Tetras, though.
Do you want to just New Meta win for Goofs?
New Meta win for Goofs? Yeah, we need to have something. We need engagement on this post. I agree, actually.
They're gonna go fast and surprise them. Like
exactly, they're not gonna expect the new meta that they're just gonna be flashed by how good it is.
I don't
they're
think
like,
they're gonna know. They're gonna understand it.
They're not gonna understand what hit them. They're gonna be like, someone check the router. Game 2. Game 2. They're gonna be like, check the router right now. I swear.
I think maybe we can get a little bit silly on this and just be like, let's give New Meta a win, and then they can boost that if we win.
New Meta Grand Finals all the way.
New Meta.
All right, New Meta versus FT win. Go back up. Sick back up.
Did they play against each other in qualifier 1? Let me check.
Let me check. Yeah, they did, and they 3-0'd New Meta.
Okay.
So I feel confident putting that as a 2-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, the New Meta run dies very quickly, but they're gonna be like, we went 2-1. We went 2-1.
This is we're gonna mess up our bracket with that pick, so I'd be fine not doing it, but I feel like it's funny.
Yeah, I agree. I'm for the last Final Weapon versus PXG. I believe in PXG. I want to throw them in that top 4 spot. I wanna listen. Do I think it's realistic? No, but like at this point, this is my fantasy bracket. Like,
this is our.
If the highest seeded West team can't beat the lowest seeded East team, no matter where, then we have an issue somewhere.
Yeah, that might
exactly.
We have to believe in PXG.
We have to. Fundamentally, we have to.
Yeah, and it's going against our practices if we don't.
But make it like a 2-1. Like, we have.
No, I'm not even gonna make it close. That's how. It's a close 2-0. It's a close 2-0. It's a
we have to stand by the West.
Close 2-0.
Samurai Cat versus Milky Way. Now this is where I say the West has fallen. Truly, I think this is PXG is the West's last hope at this point in the bracket. I think we lose to the ninja felines, or I guess no, but
Close to
close to O.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, this I can see us both winning and losing this set, but if we want to have the storyline of PXG being our last hope, I feel like I wouldn't be object to that.
Yeah. I like this, but I mean, you guys could disagree. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to believe my goat ice is washed. Same with Bran. I don't want to believe it. Those are my boys. I want to at least give them a 2-1 if we're gonna
2-1?
send them off.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Oh, no, not 210, not 210, 2-1.
Dude, it's a wow.
Yeah.
Easy tournament set.
Best of like 23, dude.
All right, Samurai Cat, you win this
Best
one.
of 19s here at the Splat World Series.
Splat World Series next year. I'm telling you, we're making at least one top 4. Dragon Rex versus Moonlight.
We had them lose to Dragon X earlier, so I feel like
Wait, is this really the rematch?
yeah, this is a rematch.
Oh, well, let's say it goes even worse the second time.
No salty run back.
No salty run backs. You know what? Actually, how bad was? I mean, oof. What if? Yeah. I don't know. This time it's a little closer. I don't know. I think this time it's a little closer.
Close to O.
Yeah, close to O. I think PXG. I don't know. Like I said, PXG really is that team. They're that team that's that is the step above, and I think they will prove it by like making it to winners or losers round 3 compared to everyone else. Wait, I put FT. Oh shoot! Wait, I forget FT Win made it through. Off.
Yeah, we have our
according to
silly
this bracket.
Yeah.
We have our. Oh shoot!
This is gonna totally screw up our losers bracket, but
This is how we get the West into top 4. Dude. We just have the
this is
West
exactly how we do
over
it.
and over and over and over again until we look like we're good.
Yeah, we cheat our way in.
yeah, I think this is a PXG dub.
This is a PXG dub.
They're kind of just
I
better.
agree. What's the score?
2-0. I think they're locked in.
I think the last time they went up against each other was a 2-0 or 3-0 actually. In
Was it in Super Jam?
SQS 7? They didn't go up. FT1 wasn't there. It was just Kyo, which Kyo took a game off. But that's not that's Milk Duds, not Milky Way. It's just Kyo. So.
Western Grand Final. Who makes it?
I'm thinking 2-0. I think. I mean, I believe in FT Win, but I don't even know their time zones. I feel like time zones matters a little bit too. I can't lie. Like,
Yeah.
if FT wins on the West Coast, I think at this point they're like either put me to bed or give me more hours of sleep. So I don't blame them. I would not blame them one bit. But Dragon Rex versus Samurai Cat. I think Dragon Rex just makes the losers run of a lifetime, or not losers run of a lifetime, but like I think they get their ticket into a losers run. I think.
Yeah, I think off of name recognition, like off of just like player caliber, I feel like we could reasonably bet on Dragon Rex.
Yeah, this is where if you think Norishio's washed, you go with Samurai Cat. If you think Norishio's still the GOAT, then you go with Dragon Rex.
Literally, yeah. And I momentum's a real thing. Bracket momentum. I mean, they lose to you literally can't be too upset about like a loss to the Invincible Fleet Rimar. You know, that's one of those losses where it's like you just shrug it off. Like, you know, I got a losers run to make the focus up on. Unless it ends up being really close, like a close 2-1, like we say, but yeah, I think Dragon Rex after the two wins they pick up here, they're just gonna like they're gonna power up, they're gonna power through. The train is on its way, and they're just like screw it. They might even be Takoyaki Party. Who knows? But they have to go through Hornet first. They have to get through Hornet first.
Okay, looking at Hornet.
Do they beat Hornet?
I don't know. This one's kind of hard to predict. I feel like this is I don't know enough about these players to give a reasonable answer.
That is true,
Yeah.
but I've created a
I think
narrative.
one could go either way.
I think we go a non-sweep angle here.
Non-sweep angle, agree.
Non-sweep
Non-sweep.
angle.
We should just trust the area cup seeders.
We probably should. We
Yeah,
probably should.
I don't mind it.
Okay, 2-1 or 2-0.
2-1.
They have Steam. Dragon Rex has
A
Steam.
run of
just
sweeps
hypothetically.
has to come to an end at
Yeah.
some point.
I think Dragon Rex takes game 1 and then Hornet.
Oh, true. Yeah, they bring the
I like
momentum
that.
into it. They stop
Yeah.
it. That's the narrative. Hornet, you better not doubt me here. Because if Dragon Rex actually ends up going on a crazy losers run, I will hate you forever. But is this the end of the line?
I think
Oh,
it may or may not be the end of the line.
I think it's the end of the line. I think they make it.
Oh.
Could you guys say that again? I think it's more stable though.
2-1.
Oh God. No.
And we all cry Western tears, and we see it through to the end for East.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My internet might be back. What was the verdict? I'm sorry.
2-1 full stream.
2-1 fall stream. Okay, we have a little bit of hope.
Yeah, a glimmer
Okay.
of hope. It is crushed.
Okay. Yeah, it is crushed. I agree. Hornet versus fall stream.
Hmm.
Now this is one of those situations where you can't just. I don't think we could just throw it to the area cup seeders and be like, well, the seed they put over the other one is guaranteed it. I don't think there's not really big gap in seeding here. So do we believe in Takenoko Shuma Ko Wobo, or do we believe in Millicrep, Ryuten Kamaton, and I wish I could read Japanese. I'm sorry, I forget their name.
Like Kuro and
Oh, Kuro. Yes.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
we
they're
want to look
this
at
group.
comps where it's like this is Hornet is like the wiper slosher team versus the squeezer team. Like the squeezer slosher splash team. So I feel like that might be more favored towards the squeezer. We have a Hornet 2-0 in the chat for Vapor. Vapor, I don't know what you're basing this off of.
Millicreep is one of those aforementioned Sniper Rider players that runs Respawn Punisher, and is likely to be more aggro in that regard.
It's
I could see
true.
Hornet taking it.
Yeah, I know this is kind of like a coin flip for me. Like I don't know enough to be like this team's gonna win.
We can give it a 2-1 to represent the coin flip nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, screw it. Yeah,
2-1
let's
fall
do it.
stream. Or 2-1 Hornet.
I like that,
2-1
yeah.
Hornet.
2-1
Do
Hornet.
it.
Trust this a little bit.
Hornet versus Takoyaki Party. The recent loser. This is losers finals here. How do you feel?
Oh
gosh. Oh gosh, no.
We're keeping
No.
the narrative alive.
Not again. Chat was right. I need to leave the lag switch at home.
I gotta see the language for that.
I'm sorry.
Like
I'm not sure what happened.
I said, I don't mind these losers.
No, we lost Zach. I know that's on me.
Like I think so we can.
Okay.
No.
I'm willing to
we're
die
back.
with the I'm willing to ride the train of the Takoyaki party coming back for revenge from
Okay,
losers.
coming back for
I'm
revenge,
down to
3-0.
give it to them.
I didn't hear anything before that. 3-0.
Yeah,
Didn't hear
Hornet, you know what?
anything.
Hornet's tired. Hornet's tired from their
Hey,
last
a
arduous
loser's
bet.
run is hard. A loser's run is hard.
Yeah, I can believe it. Maybe a close 3-0. You never know.
A close 3-0. Yeah, those are the
3-0.
heartbreaking ones because you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks ugly on the surface, and you know how hard it was to even get there.
All right. There's no bracket reset, right? Or is there a bracket reset?
There is
There
one.
is.
I mean, we're in losers. So.
Okay,
I
so
don't
in
know if
that
there's-
case, I like Fern's narrative. They come back on the 3-2.
3-2.
Whoa.
They come back on the 3-2. They force reset, and then they get really tired because it'll be like 1 a.m. in Japan, and, and then it's just a 3-0 for Invincible Fleet Romaru. So let's factor this. So in reality, this is like a 5-3. 5-3.
Yeah, I'm all about advocating for the most Splatoon that we can watch. So I love the 3-2 sort of max length bracket reset, and then I can see them getting tired out and Raymaru just starting to steamroll a bit.
I can accept that storyline. I think.
I'm a big fan of the storyline because if you make the stakes high enough, I think the West will enjoy watching a good show for that.
Yeah,
that viewership
I feel like
aspect.
people are gonna show up to watch good Splatoon, like even if it's not us winning.
It's like
But-
it's like what Popkin said. They're here to watch the best of the best. They could be playing Uno for all they care.
True.
So.
All right. Yeah,
Not super surprising, I guess. What is this, first second seed?
Mhm.
No, it's not first second seed.
No, first, fifth, first in the East
Yeah,
and third in the
they've
East.
seeded
Only the
Takoyaki.
hottest takes here at Splat Chat. Fifth seed. I'm telling you right now. We're crazy here. We get a little silly. You always have to account for silliness. You always have to account for silliness.
Guys, we got a win in the tournament.
Yeah, we gotta win.
No offense to Meta, they're very good, but I think that's kind of the last topic is the prediction.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We definitely are running over time, and my internet seems to not like you guys right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Podcast.
In case I don't also sound super pixelated on stream, I'm sorry, but thank you for watching. Oh gosh, wait, okay, let me wait until my internet decides to not like absolutely crap itself. Give me 1 second. It could be because of this. Give me 1 second. You might lose me. That's fine. Hello? You guys sound more stable?
It's gone.
You're still here, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm
we can.
gone. That's fine. I'm going back to my producer role. Back in the background because it saved my net. It really did. I guess sharing my face was too much. But go ahead, take away your hosting duties, Fern.
Yeah, so I think the Takoyaki Party run, I think the Invincible Fleet Raymer will remain invincible. And that's with that prediction, I think that'll be the last from this episode of Splat Chat. Make sure to tune into the Splat World Championship this Saturday at 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. See?
8 a.m.
The pre-show is
pre-show.
tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then the actual finals is 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday.
Right. So tune in 8 a.m. Eastern. There'll be stats from broadcasting esports every play. And thank you all for listening to this episode of Splat Chat. Our guest today, you can find me at just at remixedfriend@bsky.social. And Zach and Z, where can they find you before we close?
I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky at Shiny Hunter Zach. If you want to find me on my socials, I'm not super active, but as I mentioned, I will be commentating for the Splat World Series Finals on Saturday, so I hope y'all will check it out.
And you can find me at I'm Z, bsky.social. That is IMXI .bsky.social, or I'm_Z on Discord.
Yeah, and as for me, me and my negative cam, I will say check out more for broadcasting esports every play. Once again, big shout outs to Inkling Production Labs, their full legal name. You can find them out and about, as well as Area Cup. Go check them out. Watch top level Splatoon, and if you want to keep up to date with everything top level Splatoon, check us out at Broadcasting Esports Every Play. If you're still here, make sure to subscribe down below. If you're on YouTube and if you're on Twitch, make sure to leave us a follow so that we can stay up to date and stay engaged with everything we do. You can check us out anywhere you do your socials besides the Splatoon Amino thing. I think Amino's dying, so good for that site. I've heard nothing but bad things about that site. So good riddance. You can find us everywhere else. So, but yeah, that's it from me.
And thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next week to review the Splat World Series Finals. So